Are you press yes? Hello, I'm Alex Bowman.
Have I pressed yes? And I'm Chris Keogh. Well, I've sat down. I'm Chris Keogh. Hello.
And this is a Brit of All Right, in which we suggest all right British things that are all right about Britain, and we put them in this book that's Italian.
Yeah.
For some reason. So we're
this
about
where it's made.
We've done really itchy back. We're 7 or 8 or 9 episodes in. I don't really know how many we've done. So anyway,
this might be 9.
Could be 9, but it will say on the side anyway. What a terrible, terrible start. So do you want to? Should I go first?
You go first.
Right, I go first this time. I'm going to suggest something that, like most of the foods I've suggested so far,
so it's food again.
It's food again. It's always going to be food. It's British. You cannot. It's named after an Englishman.
Okay.
It was invented or popularised by an Englishman, so you can't say it's not British, but it might not be British classically like everything else. And what we have gone for today is the sandwich.
All right. Lovely.
So personally, I love sandwiches. I know people think they're boring, and like every TV advert that's for like a lunch place goes, "Oh, don't have a boring sandwich," and I'm like, sandwiches are not boring.
Well, boring sandwiches are boring, but
good sandwiches
are good.
The beauty of a sandwich is its portability and the fact you can just eat it anywhere, that means eating outside. Now the weather's nice. The best thing about Britain, in my opinion, is eating a sandwich outside. I think it's just absolutely perfect. So what do we know about sandwiches then? So the first recorded use of, and it was grilled meat on unleavened bread.
Okay.
Was
the word unleavened there makes me think that it's not British.
It's not British. Is in the 1st century BC.
Okay.
Hillel, I think that's how you say it, the elder, who is Jewish, had unleavened bread.
So Jewish as well, like fish and chips.
Like fish and chips. But this is the first recorded instance. So he had grilled meat on unleavened bread. Yeah. And there's reports of people in Persia, people in Egypt eating similar things. So fast forward a bit to Europe, the Middle Ages of Europe. This is quite interesting. They used to have things called trenchers. Trenchers.
Okay.
Which was essentially, instead of a plate, they would use stale bread in taverns. And coach houses and the like. And they would serve to rich people meat and potatoes, whatever they were serving, stew, possibly whatever, on stale bread.
And that would go directly onto the table?
So that would go directly on the table, and it was stale bread, and presumably rock hard, really awful bread.
Yeah.
And the meat and the juices would soak into the bread, into the trencher.
And then eventually you'd eat it? Oh.
No, they wouldn't eat it because they were wealthy. They would then walk away, and then the pub or the tavern or whatever would then resell that to poor people, or give it to dogs. So fast forward to about 1770. So it's a little before that. And there's 2 versions of the Earl of Sandwich, who I think is the 3rd or 4th Earl of Sandwich. His name was John Montagu, and popular. There's a book in 1770, I think, written by a Frenchman who was sort of writing about British society and how things worked in Britain, and he talks about John Montagu, the Earl of Sandwich, eating sandwiches, being the first person.
What a coincidence!
Supposedly, supposedly it's because he's playing crib, and cribbing can last. You can play hours, and he's playing at his club, and he supposedly says to the person that's serving drinks, "Bring me some bread, bring me some meat and wrap it in bread so he doesn't get the cards greasy, and it's portable and easy and he can just eat it." And then everybody around him says, "Oh, I'll have what sandwich he's having too." And then as the week progresses, it became known as a sandwich. Right.
Presumably the first time they ordered that, they went back into the kitchen and complained about them like mad.
What's it?
Like, you know, It's not very British, is it? You know what I mean?
No.
To ask for things that are not on the menu.
No, oh my God. So whenever
maybe it is for upper echelons of society. I don't know.
Whenever I'm with Americans, they just order what they want. You go in a place and they go, "Can I have an egg white omelette?" And you go, "That's not on the menu. What are you thinking?"
That doesn't exist.
What's the point of that? That's just essentially fluff.
No.
Just put a bit of salt and pepper on your wrist.
So you mean you want a savoury meringue? That's what you want.
So there's a theory that because of this book, it became popular.
All right. Okay.
And then by about 1850, they were selling them on the street in London.
Yeah.
So there was also a theory that he saw this in Europe. Sandwich, when visiting Europe, saw people eating things like basically kebabs, almost grilled meat on pizza. The other theory is that because he would have been working at his desk, he probably ate this at the desk so that before he had it. It's all... Anyway, shall I tell you more things about sandwiches, or are you bored of sandwiches?
I'm not... Well, to be bored of sandwiches is to be bored of life, isn't it? But
So, this is what I got today. I got a meal deal, which again...
You're a fan of a meal deal, aren't you? We know that.
They are the greatest thing in the history of the world. And I got chicken and bacon, which isn't exactly what I would have chosen.
This is because you're a stand-up comedian, isn't it? Meal deals. You know,
Meal
there's
deals.
a lot of eating on the go, isn't there?
£3.75 nowadays, and you get a snack, so a bag of Doritos or
packet of crisps,
Walker's Sensations. Those are the two top crisps.
Or you can have as a snack and a meal. I know this isn't about meal deals, but you can have
could well be.
You can have a couple of boiled eggs if you want, can't you?
You can do, which my wife has all the time. She's obsessed with boiled eggs.
My son Rufus always opts for having a couple of little pork pies as his snack. So he'll have a sandwich, the biggest sandwich they have, a couple of pork pies.
Well, that's the other thing. I think you can tell a lot about a person from a meal deal. So if I was to say we were out and I was to treat somebody to a meal deal, I went, "Come on, I'll buy you a meal deal." If they got, I mean, my wife's a vegetarian, but if they were to get like a cheese and onion, you know, like the £1.50 sandwich as part of the meal deal, you're like, "What are you doing? Get the bacon, lettuce and tomato, the dearest one."
Even if they say, "Well, that's my favourite sandwich."
Yeah, you'd be like, "You're not having it. You get a dearest sandwich and get the best." "I'll have a packet of Walker's plain ready salted crisps." No. I'm not getting you that meal deal. You don't deserve it. So
it's actually costing me money, this meal deal.
It is, rather than...
It's cheaper than if you bought the individual components.
Yeah, exactly. You need to play the games of a meal deal. It's very important. That is a big part of being British.
Yeah, exactly. The secret ingredient is the bigger the saving amount, isn't it? When you tell it up. When it says minus £3.75, you're like, yes!
Even though, of course, all the meal deal, the component parts probably are about 50 or 60p.
Oh, to make it, yeah.
Yeah. So,
that.
Do you remember a time before packaged sandwiches?
I probably do, but I can't envisage such a world.
In 1992, I think it was, Vic and Bob maybe did Big Night Out. Maybe it was 1991.
Right.
And in one of the things, Vic Reeves talks about like getting one of these shaped like a plastic thing and putting grass in it and pretending to be a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Right. And what was so funny about that is because it was kind of absurd, obviously, but also these were relatively new. So this is now a cardboard, whatever. They used
to be plastic, didn't they?
They did. Now, there was a time where you might be on a train and try and get a sandwich, or even in a pub, and the sandwiches would be made like the sandwich you've made for yourself, and be under some sort of glass dome.
Yeah.
Or under some
wrapped in cling film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until the year 1980, that Marks and Spencer's in Edinburgh started selling pre-packed sandwiches, because up until then, everyone thought, what a ridiculous thing to sell. No one's ever going to buy it.
There's no market.
Because you make it at home.
Yeah.
And within like the first few weeks, so I think he was called Mackenzie, and he was the manager of Edinburgh Marks and Spencer's.
Right.
And he just had the idea one day and went, I wonder if people would buy it, because people who've gone for the dinner and maybe who have to have a rushed dinner or dinner at the desk and have forgotten to bring something, maybe it's just for them, let's see. So they made them in the stock room, And the first one was salmon and tomato. That was the first one they made. Purely because...
This doesn't exist as a sandwich combination anymore.
Of course not, because it sounds disgusting. But probably because they would have had a food court in the M&S in Edinburgh, and Edinburgh is a very well-to-do, wealthy city. They probably had leftover salmon. That's probably what they did. It was probably a mixture of, what should we do with this salmon that's really expensive? Should we just bin it because it's going out of date?
Yeah.
Let's just flog it, put it in some bread, sell it sandwiches.
Yeah, yeah.
So it sold out. It spread to 5 stores.
Adding value to the
Adding
goods,
value,
isn't it? You know what I mean?
which is all... I follow loads of chef accounts on, and it's all about adding value.
River Cottage with Hugh from the Whitting stall. It's like you can sell the exact same amount of strawberries, but as strawberry jam, and sell it for 3 times as much money.
And anything you do with food, where you're making it and you're giving it. I was at a car beat yesterday, and burgers. They were horrible looking things. I wouldn't have had one. And it was, you know, those ones that are like catering burgers and that terrible bread.
I mean, I don't go to car boot sales for the
well, you should.
Sort of culinary excellence.
No, but there's a massive queue because you end up getting caught again.
Yeah, but there's the smell onions frying.
It's like £7 for a burger, £8 if you have cheese on it. You were allowed
everything
onions.
Costs about £8 now, doesn't it? Every single item that you buy that used to be £3 is now about £8.
And I'm shocked still every time. I bought 3 records yesterday for £3 for
Mars bars are £8 now.
Probably. Do you know how much I think a Snickers is? About £1.50.
What?
Maybe not. Maybe I was just in a garage. So, 1980 it starts, and then it spread. Everybody else within 3 years. Margaret Thatcher was visiting. Had a prawn sandwich because they'd industrialised the process. They had 3 factories, and then that went to 5, and then 10, and then everybody joined in. And Margaret Thatcher visited one of these sandwich factories and had a prawn sandwich that she said was delicious.
And if there's one thing you can trust Margaret Thatcher on, it's things that she says.
She faked eating it to appear human.
Yeah. Do you remember the myth that Margaret Thatcher invented Mr. Whippy ice cream? Do you remember that?
I don't remember that myth.
I remember that being a thing. Maybe it's true. I don't know. I think it's a myth.
So I was going
to
do...
studied chemistry.
Yes.
Before she went into politics, and she.
And was she called Roberts? Her pre-married name was Roberts.
Her maiden name, I don't know.
Yes, it was, and her dad owned a newsagent or a shop. Her dad was a shopkeeper.
I remember it being said though that she invented the whippy ice cream, which is another reason to hate her.
I know for a fact from doing this, when I was going to do it, I don't know how I was going to bring a Mr. Whippy ice cream. I think that's what scored it. It was called Mr. Softy in America, and we just copied it and renamed it.
Right. Okay.
So bullshit. Thatcher.
So like Reaganomics, then. So the same thing. Right.
Another thing to play. Yes, you got nothing to do with it. Absolutely nothing.
Right.
So yeah, that's roughly a potted history of the sandwich. And the first sandwich from Earl sandwich was beef, which I tried to get and couldn't.
Okay.
But he ordered meat. He said, "I want some meat. Wrap it in some bread." According to legend.
No, go and do it.
Chop, chop. This is at a time when gentlemen had clubs to go and play like cards in and billiards.
Yeah.
And clubs didn't allow women.
My sandwich, is that alright?
Yeah, good idea. But I've never been in a gentleman's club. I have been in a strip club once on a stag.
And they often have the word gentleman.
They do, and there was very few gentlemen on the show. That was in Edinburgh, coincidentally enough, with my friend whose stag do it was. And it was so dull. But drinks were actually quite reasonable. And the music was kind of good. And because it was like really empty, I'd been with a friend and we'd watched Hearts play Motherwell that day. Because they were all going karting or something. And I was like, I drive for a living. There is no way you're getting me on a day off to drive. So me and this other lad went and watched Hearts of Motherwell. And they said, right, we're in this place. And we went in. And then the girls would come up and say, do you want to dance? And I would be like, to be honest, not really. Yeah. They just leave you alone, which is kind of quite good.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. And I remember going into one sort of like during the day, and it was like, I'm not really, I'm just coming here for a drink, and it's because it's open, and like, and then they like chat with you for a bit. And my mate said it's like being in a rap video, you know, we just stuck doing something completely normal with semi-naked women around you, you know.
It was really bizarre. If I was to get one, this is why I know that I'm not the right kind of person for this. So, like, you choose the song. you can pick what song.
What are you talking about?
If you get a dance.
Oh, right, okay. Let's talk about sandwiches then.
No.
It's like,
If you're in a lap dance club, you can choose the song.
Can you?
I think so.
This
One it seemed to be because people were like, do you say, do you want to have a dance?
And are they contractually obliged to dance for the entire duration of that song? Could you game the system?
Well, this is what I was saying. If you went for, say, Fool's Gold or something, the full 9.5 minute version, that's a lot better.
Shine on You Crazy Diamond, 17 minutes long, or something like that. Good luck dancing sexy to that. Sad-eyed lady of the lowlands.
That's why I know I'm not the intended market.
No, exactly.
Do you know what would also be funny, I think, is in that situation, the only way that it would be like fun for everyone is if you picked the song and you went Agadoo.
The hokey cokey.
Yeah, well, you might get in trouble with it you put your right arm in.
No. Don't make me tap the sign.
No touching. So, can we have sandwiches in?
Yeah, absolutely.
Of course we can. They're the best thing in the world.
Yeah. Also, infinite variety, isn't there? Well, probably not infinite, but a lot of variety.
Almost.
Maybe infinite,
it almost
actually.
is.
Yeah. Actually, I bet there are enough different combinations that you could say it's sort of almost it's infinite.
Yeah, because you could also say 1 piece of chicken, 2 pieces of chicken, so straight away
infinite.
You've got infinite pieces of chicken.
Isn't that like that Monty Python sketch? Spam, 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 eggs and spam. Do you remember that? No.
I remember spam.
I'm always worried that I just make these things up.
So, sandwiches are in.
Sandwiches are in.
And one of my absolute favourites. I last had a sandwich, I'm having a sandwich in about a minute.
Yeah.
And I last had one yesterday, and I'm having one nearly every day because they're great.
Yeah, I eat them at least sort of 4 or 5 times a week.
Yeah, they're the best.
Just like, they are sort of a classic, like perfect lunch food, aren't they?
Yeah, and there's a growing trend of people who are allergic to bread, who won't eat a sandwich.
Are they allergic to bread? Are they intolerant to gluten?
Yeah,
that sounds like a mindset.
I think it's not real.
Of course you do.
I think you could. I think I'm intolerant of them. Let's say. I think you could really eat it if you tried.
Yeah, there's a difference in there between intolerance and just an actual allergy. Like if you've got celiac, you can't eat it.
No, and people who like, if you have a peanut and your throat starts to constrict, to someone who goes, oh.
Do you remember when you were young, when I was a kid, there was a lot of stories about people choking on peanuts?
Yes.
And I've never heard that since, because that's become peanut allergy. So I wonder, were people having an allergic reaction to a peanut and going into anaphylactic shock rather than choking on it?
Of course they were.
I was terrified of choking on peanuts as a kid because it was one of those things that you just got to
watch out for. Well, you were told
it was like that and nuclear war,
you know, like and AIDS. AIDS is another one
as well.
Thing. If you were like lying down and you had peanuts, your parents would be like, sit up, what are you doing?
And I think there must have just been people going into anaphylactic shock.
That's a great theory.
It is a great theory, isn't it? I'm full of great theories. Anyway.
So what are you going to propose?
What am I going to do? Well, I was thinking, what could I do? Because I like to try and link them together.
Yes.
So I want to put in, it's slightly tenuous, the link.
Okay.
When you said sandwich to me before, I immediately thought of a line from one of my favourite sitcoms.
Right.
Where
Fawlty Towers?
Not Fawlty Towers. I mean, Fawlty Towers could easily go in there, and I suppose that could be linked to, because now in my head, I can almost see on the bar like a little sort of thing.
Yeah, there definitely will be sandwiches. Yeah. The Major will definitely be sandwiches at some point.
But no, it's in Blackadder, right?
Yes.
So in Blackadder, I think the 3rd, which would be about right, that's the Regency period. So what was that? Sort of 18th century.
Yeah, it's round about early sandwich period.
Yeah, exactly. Because Blackadder references, I think he says to Baldric to go and make him something. I think I'll have, and he says, I think I'll have whatever. Can you bring me? And he says the exact thing. Can you bring me like a piece of meat between 2 pieces of bread, please? And Baldric says, oh right, like what? And they said it was Gerald Earl of Sandwich, Lord Sandwich had the other day. And he went, yes, go and bring me a couple of rounds of Gerald's.
Yeah,
you know, which is
brilliant.
A joke. But whenever I hear sandwich,
it makes me
think of that. Yeah. So I thought, it popped into my head before when you said I'm going to do sandwiches. So I'm going to put in Blackadder. I'm going to propose Blackadder as a series / character.
No, we talked about Blackadder briefly when we were talking about Partridge.
We did, yeah.
Because there's only the first one.
Because I suggested that Blackadder could be better than, or equal to, or better than Partridge.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, that 2, 3, and 4 are as good as anything that's ever been, especially somebody my age.
Probably like stands up, I think.
Oh.
I mean, I suspect we don't have many younger listeners, apart viewers here.
No.
But
No.
Despite
our outfit changes.
I know, yeah, exactly.
And trying to be inclusive by putting toys in the background.
Like, references to Star Wars and Lord of the Rings in the background. But, like what all the kids are into.
Kids love those things, don't they?
These are literally my 11-year-old sons, to be fair. So,
yeah.
But 2, 3, and 4 stand up. First one, I don't even consider to be part of the Blackadder canon because I don't like
Right, fair enough.
But 2, 3, and 4. So 2 is the one where he starts, which is the one in sort of Elizabethan times, where you've got Queenie.
Yeah.
And then where he plays like a minor noble, doesn't he? He's like Lord Blackadder.
Yeah.
But he lives in like a townhouse in London and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like
with Lord Percy.
Like Lord Percy, and he's got like a manservant, which is Baldric.
Yeah.
And he's got Lord Melchett, who comes around, who's like his rival.
He's like an advisor, or the what would be in Game of Thrones like the hand of the Queen.
Yeah.
He's just got her ear. He's like a royal.
Yeah.
Like, oh, don't do this, Your Majesty.
And he's a proper sycophant, isn't he?
Yes. And she's bonkers, of course. Elizabeth's just mad and just changes her mind, and it's just wonderful.
Yeah. And then the third one is sort of Regency period, like we said, where he's the butler to the Prince Regent, who's played by Hugh Laurie.
Yeah.
George, who's just like, again, mad, but in a sort of slightly different way. But basically,
and
he's years of inbreeding, you know what I mean, has meant that he's
Hugh Laurie's wonderful in everything, isn't he? But when he plays Bertie Wooster, which we could definitely put Woodhouse in. But when he does George, he's just so, because he's so gangly and gormless looking, but like a spaniel, isn't he? He's just like, oh, look at me. It's just wonderful.
Yes, I always remember there's a bit where he's being taught how to do a speech by those two actors.
The Shakespeare.
And then going to sort of stand like in his powerful stance, and he has to do a roar, and he just goes, he stands like that, and just goes, unaccustomed as I am to public speaking. And it's just so.
And that same stance has been popularised by politicians.
Exactly. When the Tories did that, the sort of Tory power stance in Theresa May.
I bet Blair did that first. Do you think?
He definitely did that, didn't he? You know, the pointing with the finger.
Yeah.
I don't want to point at you, so I'm just going to shake my fist in your direction.
So Blackadder, written by Ben Elton.
Ben Elton and Richard Curtis.
Then Ben Elton went on. Everybody hates Ben Elton, don't they? Because he was like a real left wing.
Why was that? Is that because they felt like he basically betrayed his
roots? Because he was a left wing comedian who then became an author, a really successful author with some really prescient. So he had one called Gasping.
All right.
That was about privatising. The Tory government privatised air.
Okay.
Which essentially they'd already done with water. And then he had a couple of other ones. I think there's one
called Popcorn. Remember that? That was about the fame industry.
There's one about like a Big Brother sort of spin-off. They came later, but I think and then there's anyway. So since then he's written Upstart Crow, and he's written,
Ben Elton as well?
Yeah, Ben Elton wrote Upstart Crow.
Because that was clearly him going, let's try and rechannel a bit of Blackadder.
Yeah, and it's really good, Upstart Crow. In between that, he did. I'm not sure he wasn't involved in Thin Blue Line.
Is that him?
That's just Rowan Atkinson. I don't know. I get confused.
I didn't really like that.
But he sort of was always this sort of militant, doing Friday Night Live, Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
This left-wing comedian talking about Mrs. Thatcher and the Tories and all this. And then he did a Royal Variety performance, and suddenly he became like.
Part of the establishment.
He just became
Didn't he do something for? He wrote something for George W. Bush's inauguration,
possibly,
or something like that. And because I remember Stuart Lee talking about it, because Ben Elton's response was that no, I didn't do it for George W. Bush. I did it for the President of the United States.
Right.
And Stuart Lee points out the problem with that is that is the same person.
But Richard Curtis did.
He went
weddings and a funeral.
He does all of that sort of like sanitised version of London.
Sort of
Notting Hill, fantasy world, right? Notting Hill, 4 weddings and a funeral,
and the other
one, The Bolt That Rocked.
He's
done loads actually.
Has he? That one,
the Christmas one, Love Actually. That's
the one. That's like my wife adores that film, so I'm not allowed to slag that off. But
it's full of toxic behaviour, isn't it?
You know, I
like deemed to be sort of romantic. He's like, no, this is obsessive stalkery.
No, I that's where I disagree. That's where I would force feed anyone that said that a sandwich full of gluten. So,
but that guy who sort of like turns up at his mate's house with those signs for his mate's wife.
That's romantic. He loves it. And also often spoofed in adverts, so you know it's.
What should happen there is his mate should have like pushed her at them and just punched him right in the face.
His mate don't know. Which kind of. I mean, again, I think that behaviour's gone all the way round.
Yeah.
Because I hear loads of young comedians now talking about like cuckolds and wife swapping and things like that. So maybe he was just miles ahead of his time.
What, you think Richard Curtis started the manosphere?
I think it started with
those signs.
If you've ever tried to do anything like that, and I don't, just anything involving
talking like the Matrix is after you or something like that, is what it says.
It would have not been enough. Firstly, it's stolen from Bob Dylan, Subterranean on Sick Boys video. Firstly, let's get that right. And secondly, there is no way if he actually did that with so many like, oh, I think you're fit. Oh, no, you can't go out here, but I want to have a bash on you, whatever he likes.
You're paraphrasing there, obviously.
That's the gist.
Yeah.
But there's no way one of them wouldn't have misspellings on or be upside down.
Or in the wrong order.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like yeah. You don't drop one. So the ink's run on this one, so it looks a bit weird.
Don't say anything. I think that's the first one. Don't say anything. No, just try that.
Don't say anything. Get in the van. You know, like that's just like.
It's just
sinister, isn't it?
To somebody to don't say anything. Oh God!
You instantly think this is you being kidnapped. You know. Anyway, before he wrote all that nonsense, he wrote some really good cutting. Because then you get onto the sort of Blackadder goes forth, which is the one.
Which is everyone's favourite.
Which is everyone's favourite. Although
it's not mine.
They're all good, but in different ways. Which is there is a there's a thread that runs through them.
Yeah,
which is he's sort of cynical and sarcastic and genuinely funny. Blackadder, I think. He always sort of loses and wins at the same time. It's difficult to know what you mean. Because he ends up back in the same place at every time, you know. But then if you watch it, he's sort of like he goes from a lord to a butler to someone in the trenches. So actually, he's like character is becoming lower in the pecking order.
Yeah, although he's Captain Blackadder, so he maintains like he's not rank and file.
Yeah, so he's always ahead. He's always above Baldric.
Yes,
but he's not. You know,
he's not like and he's
Baldric stays where he is.
Yeah, Baldric's the only consistent. Although I suppose General Melchett. So he's like top.
Yeah,
through no virtue.
And George is sort of like public school
anywhere in between, and he doesn't know or care where he is.
Exactly.
He's brilliant, really. Right. Well, should we decide whether to put it?
So I think it should go in.
I think it 100%
because it's just.
Which is your favourite? Really, is your favourite 4 or 3 or?
I think 3.
Yeah.
You know.
I think 3's mine because of.
I think the character of Blackadder is really good in that.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
George is a really good supporting character.
Yeah, and then I think all the stories, although they're really good in 4, but I think the stories are the best in 3 as well.
Yeah. So you've got the one with the actors in where they say Macbeth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they have to do the weird stuff. And then rubbish his noses, whatever. And then but then you've got some like proper, you know, you've got some really good guest appearances in 3 as well. So like Stephen Fry is in it, but is he Nelson or Wellington? Wellington.
Yeah, he's Wellington.
And he's really
his nose, and he's very like.
He's really good. And
I've got that nose. I used to see that at 16 and go, I'm going to struggle at school now.
But you know where like Blackadder pretends to be the prince and all that, and it's just.
It's wonderful. The whole Mrs. Miggins pie shop. I mean, we must have said that at school like 50 times a day. Yeah, the one with the poets in there as well. You know, because that's in 3 as well. And the one with where he goes to sort of to do the Scarlet Pimpernel storyline. Yeah, the dictionary. It's just.
With Robbie Coltrane. Playing Samuel Johnson.
Yeah,
just good. So 3 is the best one.
Yeah,
but all of it goes in.
Yeah, and Rowan Atkinson is an utter genius, isn't he?
Yeah.
Apparently, like he might. I don't even think. Some people I've heard is like, oh, he's not the nicest person. I think that's exactly how he should be if you're famous. You should go, I'll do great things or stuff only for obscene amounts of money. Yeah. And then you just won't hear from me for 5 years at a time.
Yeah.
Then I'll pop up as a vicar in somewhere.
And also, like, do you have to be the nicest person?
No, I mean, as long as you're consistent.
Yeah.
I can't understand how famous people just consistently strive to be famous. It almost must be something wrong in. As soon as you've made any kind of money.
Yeah. The pressure's off then, isn't it? You can then just sort of do whatever you want.
Yeah, I would be doing this
and move on to do also.
I would be doing this rubbish.
Yeah.
But we won't be filming it.
No,
just
exactly.
go round with sandwiches.
Yeah.
Hey, do you know this facts about sandwiches? You can put Blackadder on.
Yeah, exactly. You know, there is that thing, isn't there, I guess, of like, you know, like someone, it must be like an old Japanese saying or something, like a man sitting next to a river. And the idea
it's never the same river twice.
No, it's not that. Is that you basically, if you work really, really hard and do well for yourself, you can then spend your day sitting by the river. And he's like, well, I'm already sitting by the river as it is, you know.
I think it's a Chinese. I think it's Taoism.
Is it?
Right, yeah, it often is. Or Jimmy Carr's just repeated it. No, it's like the full like teachings of Buddha and Taoist principles, like about the we'll see, you know, when a man finds a horse.
Right, okay.
And then it attracts other horses and then it breaks his son's leg and then the army turn up to fight a war they're going to lose. And each time he goes, oh, that's good luck. Goes, maybe. And then each new thing, the wise fellow's going, maybe. And then his son doesn't go to war because he's broken his leg by the horse that seemed to be good luck and then bad luck. Maybe Jimmy Carr's on something because Jimmy Carr repeats it as his own.
Yeah. So it's basically like looking at the long lens of things.
You just to say you never know.
Context of stuff.
Right, which I kind of like because any religion that goes, look, pressure's off. You don't know anything. Just have a sandwich.
Just go with the flow of things.
The electricity's been cut off. That's bad news. Maybe. You've got worked for 3 weeks. That's bad news. Maybe. It's too early to say.
On that note, let's end.
Let's walk off. I've got tracky bottoms on, so I'm going to sort of shuffle so nobody sees them.